Hello dear students, I welcome all of you to this second digital learning class of PC-2 books of your second year course. Today's class, I will discuss with you about the prose text, its importance and teaching objectives of prose text. Why we can teach a prose text, why we can understand prose text as an English teacher. Why it is important for an English teacher to understand the prose text. What is the importance of prose text? Why we should give focus on prose text? What is the major point of discussion here? We will discuss so that we can prepare ourselves as a good English teacher and we can deal with the students very effectively. So here we will discuss about the prose text, its importance. We know that any language, the main aspects of any language, we will discuss here the main aspect of any language. We may take our Odia language, Hindi language, or our special discussion here is the English language. So the main aspects of a language, they are the prose, poetry, grammar and composition in various forms. So here prose, poetry, grammar and composition, they are the main aspect of any language, and we are here discussing with the English language. So here also comes the point prose text. So prose provides the primary exposure to the sound, pronunciation, vocabulary, structure and usage of a language, that is English language. So here we are discussing how prose text provide exposure to pronunciation, vocabulary, usage of a language so that we can deal with the students properly. Here appropriate transaction of prose text develops the language skills. Here we are discussing about the language skills. So there are 4 language skills: listening, speaking, reading and writing. So all these 4 language skills, they can better develop with the better transaction of prose text by the teacher. If the teacher translates the prose text in a proper way and effectively, then the language skill will automatically develop in the students. So the first 2 skills of listening and speaking, they are the more important as the student get better exposure and practice in it. The first 2 skills of the language skill, that is the listening and speaking. So teacher must give attention to these 2 skills as the students get much opportunity for exposure and practice. So better exposure and for better practice, teachers should focus on listening and speaking skills. Then reading is also very important. Reading skill is also very important because in reading, the speaking and listening skill comes under it. So reading skill contain the speaking and listening skill. So reading skill is also called the multilingual skill. Here learners get better sufficient scope for exposure and practice in listening and speaking, and after listening and speaking, teachers should focus on reading skills because it contains listening skill and speaking skills. So exposure to sound, pronunciation, vocabulary, structure and usage in prose text, it enables the learners to speak and write the language effectively. So for development of speaking and writing skills of the students, prose text, it helps a lot because in the prose text, students get opportunity to understand the sounds, pronunciation, vocabulary and its structure and usage. So teacher must give proper attention to the prose text, and while they are dealing with the prose text, when they are teaching the prose text to the students, when they are transacting the prose text to the students, they must give attention the main focus to which they can focus. That means the listening and speaking skills must be given attention while transacting the prose text. Teacher must give attention to the listening and speaking skill. Not theoretically they can only read the text of the prose, they must give attention to the listening and speaking skill, and after that reading skill is also given importance. So prose lesson, it is the stepping stone to learn a language. As a teacher of English language, you should be very careful about the purpose of teaching learning prose lesson. So the main purpose of teaching learning prose lesson is development of listening and speaking skill and also the reading skills. So here some exercises is given for you. You have to answer, you have to write the answer of some question I am giving you here. What are the language skills? We are already discussing here. What are the language skills? We have to answer. Then which language skill is considered more important? We know that there are language skills. You have to answer that. So among those language skills, which is very important, we have to answer. Why is the skill of reading known as a multilingual skill? The reading skill, why it is called the multilingual skill, you have to answer. Then which skill comes at the end in the hierarchy of language skills? We know that there are some language skills, so which skill among those come at the end? Then we will discuss here the objectives of teaching learning a prose lesson. What are the major objectives of teaching and learning a prose lesson? We know that prose text is basically or primarily a language lesson. It is a language lesson. Prose helps a lot in learning a language, because in the prose text, most of the things, the vocabulary development is also possible. The students are able to know the structure of that language, the grammar, vocabulary, all these things, and usage. All these things students can learn and they can able to know. So the text may contain either a story element or some information. The prose text, in the prose text, it may contain either a story element or some information, or the text may be in the form of description or dialogue. So we know that what the prose text, what is a prose text? Mainly in the prose text, it is in the form of dialogue, description, or it may contain some information or theme. When you go through the text, you would find in it a message or theme. When we are transacting the prose text, when we are reading the prose text before teaching to the students, we know that the teacher must find out a theme or message in it. If the teacher are unable to find out the message, they cannot transact it in a proper way to the students, and their discussion is also not fruitful if they are not understanding the message in it. So the first duty of the teacher is that they should read the text, prose text properly, find out the major themes in it, major points in it, the difficult words meanings they should find out from the dictionary. They should first clear themselves properly so that they can deal with the students properly. So useful, the message in the prose text that is useful for life. So proper dealing is very important. So here different types of sentences, vocabulary items, usage, and each text is followed by an exhaustive exercise. Here also we will find some important aspects that in the prose text we will find different type of sentences that may be simple, compound, and complex sentences. Vocabulary items, the use of different words, their meanings, opposite, there are all these things we will find in the prose text. So they are very useful for the students. Then usage, and it, after fulfilling of the prose text reading, after that we will find also some questions relating to the prose text. So when the teacher practiced this with the students, when the teacher helps the student to practice this properly, then students will be able to know all these things properly, which will help them to understand the English language better, to learn the English language better. The prose lessons create a huge scope for the learners to acquaint themselves with vocabulary, structure, sentence pattern, usage, functional grammar of the target language, that is English. So prose text is very important as it gives a maximum information to the students. The 4 language skills, they are also practiced maximum in a prose lesson. The 4 language skills, that is listening, speaking, reading and writing, they are very much practiced in prose lesson. The learners develop the skills of reception, comprehension, expression, interaction, and in a word, they develop correct and appropriate communication skills in English. So prose text helps the teacher in developing their reception skill, communication skills. The teacher must vividly understand the content of the prose text and decide the learning points. First duty of the teacher is to understand vividly the content of the prose text. What is the content in it in the prose text? The teacher must understand. Then they should decide the learning points. They should find out the learning points, what they are going to transect to the students. They can work out the learning points. Then for transaction they will decide the strategies in the classroom. Then here are some exercise for you. Again, I am providing you some question which you have to answer. So you have to write down the answer of the following questions I am giving you here. First question, what does a prose lesson contain? You already discussed here. You have to answer what a prose lesson contain. In the prose lesson, what things are here in the prose lesson, you have to answer. Then, how does the sentence pattern in English differ from that of the Indian languages? Here is a question, how the sentence patterns of English differ from the Indian language sentence pattern. We may take the example of our Odia language. You have to think the sentence pattern of Odia language and you have to compare it with the sentence pattern of English language, and what different differentiation we find here, you have to answer. Then which language skills are the skills of reception? We already discussed that there are 4 language skills. You have to answer among those 4 language skills, which skills are helpful in or which skills helps in reception. Then which language skills are the skills of expression? Which language skills among those 4 skills are the skills of expression? Which skills help us to express ourselves, our feeling, thoughts? By which skill, which language skill we express our feeling, thoughts, all etc. You have to answer. So very thanks to all of you for watching this video lecture, online video lecture, and my sincere request to all of you that you have to answer all those questions. You have to prepare the answer in a A4 size paper, color paper, very attractively, and you have to share it in the comment box or email. If you are unable to answer any question, you may ask that. Okay, I will help you. So very thanks to all of you for watching this video. Thank you.